Hey guys, welcome to The Common Gamer. Today we're going to be talking about the beta from The Division. Last week I had the pleasure of wandering through New York's trash-filled streets, toxic air contaminants, as well as dealing with all different varieties of unsavory people. Just so we're clear, I'm talking about Tom Clancy's The Division beta, not actual New York, although the similarities were striking. Obviously I'm exaggerating in my comparison, but in truth, the game feels more like New York than any other game based there that I've ever played. The streets feel familiar, the buildings are beautifully rendered, and I'm constantly astounded by the seamlessness of the game. Moving between zones, buildings, and other encounters without a single loading screen really is amazing. The day and night cycle, along with the dynamic weather systems, create a fluid experience that feels, well, natural. The experience of walking through the dark world that Ubisoft has created was exceptional. The beta had a fair amount of content to offer. It included a very brief tutorial, a sample of a story mission where you got to see how upgrading your headquarters works, access to the player versus player dark zone, along with a few goodies hidden for those who really went exploring. Sample mission could be played at either normal or hard, which basically meant normal or elite enemies as far as the beta was concerned. The mission itself is pretty straightforward: kill a group of dudes in one room, move forward, kill more dudes in a bigger room, move forward, then finally kill a boss on the roof. All throughout the missions you're getting small audio cues from your team and your rescue target.
You'll have to pass by some contaminated areas. There used to be plenty of sick people being treated there before they got shot.
It felt much less tactical than most Tom Clancy games that I've tried, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think with an MMORPG style game like this, you can't have a super steep learning curve at the beginning. The Division offers a simple and satisfying experience when it comes to its core gameplay. The controls for using cover and movement are fluid and simple. Combat is satisfying, although possibly too simple. However, we only have a small slice of the content in the whole game. I'm assuming more complex tactics will develop as more tools are given to us. First off, I want to say I've never had an experience in gaming quite like playing in the Dark Zone. It's both terrifying and thrilling. In the Dark Zone, you fight elite level enemies along with the option of fighting other players. You find loot by opening crates or killing enemies. Once you have your items, you must go to an extraction point and call a helicopter to take your items back to your base. This is the only way you can have access to those items outside of the DZ. If an enemy player or an enemy AI kills you, you drop your loot. The problem is, once you signal a helicopter, it takes about 90 seconds for it to arrive. That might not feel like much, but when you and your friends are standing across from the extraction point from another group of friends, waiting to see if anyone shoots each other for their loot, that 90 seconds feels like days. The emotional roller coaster of finding an awesome piece of gear, running it to an extraction point, calling for a lift, and then getting gunned down as you attempt to drop off your new toys only to watch the person who killed you run off with your loot. It's so real, it's painful. This brings me to some of the issues I have with the Dark Zone and the rogue agent mechanic. If you choose to attack another player, you and anyone who you are teamed up with goes rogue. This makes you a juicy target to all other players. I constantly felt as though if I even grazed another player with a bullet, I would go rogue instantly. But when a player shot me, they would be able to kill me before they even went rogue. Generally, I felt like I ended up going rogue first, even if they had started shooting at me. I also disliked how if one person goes rogue, your entire group is marked. All it takes is for one person to make a mistake and accidentally go rogue, and then your whole group is fucked. I don't dislike the system, I disliked how inconsistent it felt. I also had issue with how a player could have a red health bar even if they weren't rogue. Now, maybe it's just me, but as a gamer, I've been programmed to look at a red health bar and think, oh, that's an enemy, shoot it. In large firefights between rogue agents and non-rogue agents, I had a very difficult time distinguishing allies with red health bars and enemies with red nameplates. I would sadly end up going rogue myself and then getting myself killed. It was frustrating. Apart from that though, the beta itself was a great experience. I'm glad I was able to play it with several of my friends and get a feel for their party and game joining system. This game is looking to be a really great one. It offers fresh gameplay mechanics set in a beautifully rendered world that can be experienced alone or with friends seamlessly. Now it's time to get out there and start waiting until March 8th. I'll see you back in the Dark Zone. Game on.